Mary does not, just FYI.
None for me, no.
Madam Chair, just so you know, we are live.
Yes, sir. Okay, very good. Good evening, everyone. Can we have your release attention? One more second, please. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. Okay, ready? Meeting's on, we're live. Okay, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Holly Township Parks and Recreation Special Meeting. Today is April 29th, 2025, and it is approximately 6:31. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Can we please stand up and say the pledge of allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Wright,
Here.
Hutchins,
Here.
Carl,
Here.
DeSessa,
Here.
Earl, here. Cora.
Thank you. Very good. Next item is the approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of our special meeting dated April 16th, 2025?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Hutchinson. Is there support?
I support.
Supported by Commissioner Carl. Roll call, please.
DeSessa,
Yes.
Carl,
Yes.
Hutchins,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Earl, yes.
Very good. Motion carries. Minutes have been approved. Next is item number 5, approval of the agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve tonight's agenda or add any items that you wish to include? If not, do I hear a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
I make that motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Motion by Commissioner Wright. Is there a support?
Support.
Supported by Commissioner Hutchins. Roll call, please.
Carl,
Yes.
Hutchins,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
DeSessa,
Yes.
Earl, yes.
Okay, motion passed. Agenda has been approved. Next item is public comment. Members of the public can address the commission once they are recognized by the chairperson for items listed on this agenda only. Comments are limited to 4 minutes. The commission may extend this time up to an additional 4 minutes by majority vote. Prior to addressing the board, members of the public are asked to state their name and address for the record. I see no one from the public at this meeting, so if there's any issue, I'd like to move on with this item. Okay? All right, very good. So now we're going to move on to item number 7, which is old business. And truly, this is the reason we are all here, and we are so close. The item number 7 is to discuss and consider approval of the Holly Township Parks and Recreation proposed budget for the fiscal year 2025-26. And this is the only item on the agenda, so I'm hoping that we're able to finish this and not be here all night. But we will get it done. I ask that you bear with me. Unfortunately, I have a terrible sinus and ear infection, but I can hear, except on my left side. A little bit of a problem, but forgive the red nose here. But anyways, okay, so let's move on. So the minutes have been approved. don't let me forget to sign the minutes so that we can send them. And then the next item is the budget. Now, you see a report that looks like this. Okay? It looks like this. So this first report shows us exactly where we stand right now for our budget.
Question?
Mm-hmm.
Does this incorporate the items, changes, the amounts that we
Yes.
adjusted?
Only the ones, yes. There may be one other change, because I don't see it here, but I'll go over it. But yes, I asked our accountant to include the items of those things that we did recommend for change. And you can see we've done quite a few, except when you turn the page over, you'll see where we left at park repairs. Okay? That's where we left off. And those 4 items is what's left remaining, those several items, and that's it. Now, the next page, because I wanted you all to see it, is a comparison of the budget to actual. Where do we stand in this fiscal year? Okay, how are we addressing most of our budget? And again, if you look at this page here, Joe, this page right here, it says comparison of budget to actual, right here. Okay, you can see where we're spending. Like, this is our budget for 24-25. We've spent 75% of the year, and this is how much is left remaining. And then the second is the percentage. How much have we spent or collected? The first section shows the revenues. You can see we're doing very well on revenues. We're at 97.3%, with only 75% of the year gone by. And this is only from July to March, okay? So it's not bad. April is almost over, so hopefully we'll add a few more dollars. I mean, all we need is $5,907.31 to be exact. That's left remaining for us to capture under revenue. And I think we're going to be receiving additional funds from some of these areas, and then we'll see where we go. But again, we cannot exceed our revenue versus our expenditures. So we will be monitoring this very, very closely. All right? And then you can see our expenditures at the bottom of the page. With 75% of the year gone by, we've spent 43.6%. Okay? And then you can see by line item how much we've spent. And the only one that we've exceeded, we've done some damage to the auditor's report. Auditing fees went a lot higher than what we thought they were going to come in. So this is something that we have to take a look at in the coming year. And then we had some additional things that we had to do for mileage, so that went up a little. And then let's see, anything else that comes up? Maybe payroll expenses went up a little, but not by much. And so we're at 43.6% overall. So that's still not bad, but we still have a couple of items that we need to take care of. All right, and then the following page is for March. So what did happen in March? What did our staff do? And where did these dollars go to? You can see we didn't collect a lot of money in March, but we did have quite a few expenses. And again, it outlines where it went, mostly for personnel, some office expenses, sanitation disposal, utilities. Again, it was the audit fee. That's where most of the money came that we spent in March. All right, so you can see where that happened. All right, and I wanted you all to see this. Yes, sir.
Why wouldn't this form include 1/12 of our total budget, revenue budget, of the 217?
Because this represents only March, sir.
And
If you want to.
1/12 would be 1 month.
1 month, yes.
All right? Because this makes it look like we took in $123.
That's exactly what happened, sir.
But 1/12 of our budget would make this more palatable.
If you look at this top page, Okay?
which we did.
Okay, then you can see where we actually stand overall. We're at 97.3%. We've collected 99.5% of our taxes. Our programs, classes, we have disc golf, we have interest and dividends, which is doing very well, and we have had some minor contributions that have come in. And that's it. Most of our dollars is from taxes. That's where the majority of our funds come from. Very, very little money comes from anything else. Okay, so this is why, you will see these reports. Now, to avoid any confusion, what I've asked our manager, and if it's okay with you all, to maybe give us a quarterly report from now on to see where we stand. And so this way she'll give the report, she'll work with the accountant, and she'll give these to us on a quarterly basis to see where we stand and how we're doing. This way we can make sure that we are within our financial constraints, which is very, very important. Okay? So yes, you're absolutely right. For the month of March, yeah, we only received a total of $123.21, and that came from interest and dividends that we earned from our banking account. And I've spoken with our accountant. Something that we have to work, where we may set up a policy for investment. We don't have a lot of money for investments, but this may be something that we may want to look at and see if we can earn a little bit more. Maybe purchase a CD of some sort, something that's with very low risk. That's usually what cities invest in. Again, these are tax dollars. We do not want to misspend them. Okay? All right, so you're absolutely right. This is exactly what it says. Okay, so now you know the status, where we are, what we've spent to date. This is our budget, where we're at, what we're doing, and then this is the transition list with some splits, so they can see. Now, Mary, can you explain this one here? This is the payroll. Is this the checks that you paid to date? Yes.
These are the ones that we have submitted to Rachel. Some of these are petty cash type items, but some of them are our utilities. We've got several on here from consumers. Don's Little John is our Porta John, and then some are reimbursements. I think James, and I'm not sure if this one contains, no. Recently, Jane actually had to purchase with her own personal credit card 2 high-ticket items, and that will be coming up in the next month on that report. But QuickBooks is on here, and our auditor is the Lewis and Knopf, which is the 8,500 is that. The Elite Imaging System, I believe, is our copier, and they actually keep track of individual copies. I had to call them because they had a box that was delivered of toner, and we already had 3 of the toner. So I called them and I said, how are we getting this delivered? And she says, well, we automatically do it. The machine reports to them
That's a good thing.
The number of copies, how many of them were color, how many of them were black and white. I was stunned. I was holy cow. So that's how that's coming about. But either way, when Jane and I were actually, do you want me to talk a little bit about our meeting today with Rachel?
Sure.
When we met with Rachel today, some of the things that she had talked about currently, there's about $150,000 that is open for the board to decide what they want to do with some of our income for next year, because of the fact that she has done the budget as a bare bones kind of budget. And when we met last time, we added in some of the items, but according to her, even with this, where she has added in some of the things that we had given to her, there's still like $150,000 that are outstanding.
And that's what we're gonna focus on today, to make
Yeah.
sure, I understand now how the budget was put together last year. And if you look at there's the budget questions. Remember, we had questions that we wanted her to reply. I'm not gonna read them out loud here, but you can see for yourself her responses to those questions. And so basically what happened was, again, it was a bare bones budget, like Mary said, and then what was left over in order to balance the budget, they placed those dollars for maintenance and repair for the parks. But they didn't determine specifically what kind of projects we were going to be doing or anything like that. So that's why when I asked her the question, so what did we plan on doing? And she said, well, it was the commission was going to decide at a later date. And so this evening, we will maybe discuss that a little bit, but again, like I said, we're going to get the budget done first, and then we can give direction to the manager as to what projects we want her to continue for the rest of the fiscal year. Now, remember, fiscal year ends on June 30th of this year, so we don't have a lot of time. So we have May and June in which to complete these projects. And if we don't finish them, if we don't spend those dollars, then again, I'll ask the manager to make sure that whatever projects we undertake, that they are able to be done in this fiscal year. And if they're not, then maybe this is something that we can do for the previous year. And the next year starts in July. So we'll have some dollars again, and we can again take up these projects that we wanted to do. Okay?
I think one thing I would like to point out, particularly if we're looking this year at the beach staff, based on last year, most of the time we had 2 staff that were present at the beach all the time, just for safety's sake. And that worked out to like 112 hours per week. And we had approximately 11 weeks in the season. So just considering 2 staff at that 11 weeks came out to 17,248. And that was based on the fact that we included some of our staff is going to be returning staff. And that's significant because in the first year, our staff makes $13 an hour. Any returning staff makes $14 an hour. And anybody above that or in management is like $15 an hour. So we did hire extra staff or have extra staff available, particularly on 4th of July and on some weekends. So that will increase the budget some for the 17,248. So, I think it would be fair to say at least 20,000 for staffing just for the beach. Some of our Michigan Works staff will be working at the beach this summer because in order for Tom specifically to stay here, that he has to go over to the beach at least 1 day a week. So that will be staffing that we will not have to actually pay for because that's covered through the state program that is covered with him. So the other thing is the maintenance that we have already discussed previously, but the maintenance tasks that Mel feels comfortable having our staff actually do would be working on replacing the trim work on the nature center and rebuilding the corner of the porch where the downspout ends, or with the gutter ends, and it comes right down on there. We are proposing that we have a new gutter along the whole top of the back of the nature center with a leaf guard, and adding a leaf guard to the front gutter, and painting on the east side of the nature center for exterior work right now. We think that that would be a good start. We've already talked about the drainage issues, and I know Commissioner Hutchins Commissioner Carl and Robert Montgomery are working on a plan to solve those issues.
Okay.
So,
Very good. Okay, good, we've got most of our budget done. So that's a good thing. Okay, we had a good meeting this afternoon, and, but as I explained to her, one of the things that I'd like to do in the future is go back, if we can, and maybe change the way we do even our expenditure report and break it up into two sections, one for the beach and one for the nature center. So it separates the two, and we can see exactly how much we're spending. Right now, the way our budget is set up, it's all under one lump sum. And this is okay, because we have a very, very small budget. It's not like we have, millions and millions of dollars. So maybe I'm over asking. So I'll sit down with Rachel, and she'll work with me, and she'll explain what we can do, because I don't want to make her job, double, and I don't want to make it more difficult. So again, this is just some suggestions that I have, and we'll proceed as we move on. Okay. Okay. So with that, I'm going to go back to the budget. Although thank you, Mary. You handled the first one of the most important ones. And so, as you can see, let's look at this one here, Joe. Everyone, this is what we're going to go back to on this one, so we can finish the budget. This one right here. Okay. So when we went with Rachel to discuss the items that we had proposed, I asked her to take a look at the revenue, and I asked her to take a look at the expenses. So as you can see, we still have we've only recommended 96,000. So we still have a bit of ways to go. All right? But we do have a limited budget. The only concern, and it's a minor concern, but she did recommend that we may want to reduce our projection or our recommended budget for disc golf. And I think she said 1,500. Am I correct, Mary?
I think she said that might be
The 2,000
more
there.
realistic.
Mm-hmm. She said that 2,000 might be a little too high. So with no problems, I'm going to reduce this to 1,500. And if we get more, that's plus.
Can we go
Okay.
by item numbers?
We're on the budget.
645.
Oh, I'm
That's
sorry.
right, yeah,
Oh, that
yeah,
number, okay.
right, yeah.
645.
That way we can all follow along.
Okay, I apologize. 645, disc golf. Okay, we had recommended 2,000, and I'm recommending that we bring this down to 1,500. And again, it's just based on the experience from our accountant. She thinks that's a more realistic number. Okay? So that brings our projection down by $500. So on the total revenue side, yep, 245, 900. Okay. I just don't trust my math. So that's how much we have to spend this year, okay? Assuming that all of our projections come in as we indicate. So the number that I was looking at, Joe, again, is number 645, and that's disc golf, and that's the revenue side, all right? Going on expenses, we have come up with, so for park salaries, should we increase this amount, or should we just leave it at 34,000, Mary? Or is it the 20,000 that you were talking about?
Well, I think that the park salaries that are on here,
Mhm.
we're including the beach
Mhm.
staff and our later seasonal employees.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, it would probably, we may increase it some, because some of the people who are returning are going to be second-year people. Zach and Alexis are both coming back. And I have reached out today to Debbie, who is also a staff from last year, asking her if she would be willing to come back. And I have not heard back from her yet.
Okay.
But Mel, because we made him the maintenance supervisor, he will also be on an increased wage. So I think, we would be fair to go up some on the salaries.
So, okay, so I'm looking at item number 702, Joe, under expenditures or park salaries. Originally, we had budgeted at 34,000. So, I'm recommending 38,000. Does that sound reasonable? Or should we go to 40?
I probably would go 40.
Okay. Again, it's just a guess. And I'm making some assumptions in terms of, as Mary indicated, increases in salary and the number of hours. So, is everyone okay with 40,000?
Yeah, you gotta remember that this is only a projection.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't the Ten Commandments.
No, it is the plan.
Yep.
Thank you, sir. Yes, you're absolutely right. So we're going to go ahead and put 40,000. Hope we don't have to go any higher than that. Okay. And then under the manager's salary, we went to 30,000. Program coordinator is a 0. Social Security. Can we ask Rachel to give us some numbers based on projections?
Did she include that?
No, she didn't. She did not show that. She has it for 34,000, but not for. If we were to go to 40, I can do a rough guess again, but.
Okay. I can ask her that.
Okay. I would just assume 7,000. Again, it's just a rough guess, but she'll know it. It's usually like a 6% of the total salary, or sometimes it's 12% or something like that. It's a certain percentage that we pay for Social Security for our employees.
So you would want me to ask her what would be the Social Security based on the 40,000 and the 30,000?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Okay, so I'm going to put this for Rachel. All right. And then we don't have a pension, we don't have health, accounting fees. This is for Rachel?
I believe it is.
Okay, so it's the same, 5,500?
Yep.
Yes, okay. And then we have beach operating supplies, which is 726. I don't know why we have nothing in here. I would think that we would put something in there. Mary?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I thought that was actually one of the questions that we did ask.
Mm-hmm. Maybe because it was addressed in another item further down. Trying to think out loud here.
Well, it looks like previous years we spent 2,000 or 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
So I would drop in 1,000
Okay. All right.
to fill in the blank.
Okay.
I think that includes cleaning supplies for the bathroom, toilet paper, napkin, the paper dispenser for
The
washing.
other thing is, though, is I believe that there is quite a bit of cleaning supplies left from last year.
Some here, the wood free.
Yeah.
Hey, $1,000 is,
No, it's not bad.
it is.
Okay, in case we
It's
need
better
them.
to put it in and not have to use it. than not.
Exactly. It's like Joe said, this is a plan. This is a plan. It is a guess. Okay, so we're going to put $1,000, and this is for item number 726. And then softball expenses,
727
Seven-
is for parks.
Oh, 727, oh, I'm sorry. No, we put 3,000 on that
Okay.
for operating supplies.
That's parks.
Yes, right, yes. And then, office expense, 729. Okay, we put, 4,500. Oh, yep. And then, softball expenses,
That's not bad, so that's blank.
so that'll be 0. Special events, classes. Last time we spoke, we said we would put 3,500 in there.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, disc golf. I'm hoping we don't have to spend any more money on disc golf.
So which higher was that, that's what I was gonna say, was it signage, and was that wooden signs that need to be repainted or no?
That's a good question. I mean,
On disc golf, I think all the signs are in. The only signs that have to be, there already one that hasn't been put in is the trail signs. But I would also like this broke down because we maintain after disc golf on the weekend, they should keep track of their hours, how many people, how many. and-
You're gonna
Yes,
hold us-
they'll be included in our
contract.
contract with disc golf that we pick up their trash and put it in our dumpster. We use 2 people and a piece of equipment, and we maintain that. Now, also, we've been taking down fallen trees and stuff, maintaining the disc golf course. So that should be done. And any other tree removal should be denoted by our supervisor. This was on a trail, so that belongs to parks. We gotta take track of everything where our money's going, here and there, A and B, if we wanna do this right. And that, like I say, in the next the new contract for disc golf, it will say trash removal. You wanna take care of it, or are we gonna take care of it? We gotta, if we have to take care of it, we have to charge it to disc golf, because it's for their stuff. And anything, you know, like I said, we settled that for Little League this year. Little League, the biggest thing was use the dumpster, because we tie up our guys and our time, because they're on limited hours, you know? We gotta show that we're fiscally responsible. We're not giving anybody nothing, we're charging for it, because it has to be.
understand. Okay, so for now, we're not going to put anything under disc golf. And, yes, sir?
I would put $500.
You would
in
put
disc golf.
500?
Disc
Okay.
golf. That way it'll be a reminder for us.
All righty.
That,
There you
oh,
go.
what are we doing with $500 disc golf? Oh, we're picking up trash.
Gotcha.
Because disc golf lasts all year.
And $500, just an arbitrary number, just to remind us?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
You're not suggesting that's gonna be real. I would say it's gonna be more than 5.
Well, that's what we're just putting it in there now, because it's gonna be a new trial, we got a contract coming up. So, yeah,
All right.
it's arbitrary.
Okay.
So it'll keep us looking at that, what's the $500? Yeah,
Because the key too is this gets used almost every week of the year. And,
yeah.
you know, they're using it.
During the week and everything else. And DPW is doing, since I straightened out some of the road, DPW is doing a good job grading the road, because there's a lot of traffic with disc golf and Little League. I mean, you know, especially, Little League's only here for a couple of days, but disc golf is all 7 days a week.
We have ball games going on Monday through Thursday.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I was watching the people
Yeah.
play. It's really nice families out there enjoying the
The other thing
game.
is when Little League is here, you have significant traffic too.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
We do.
Well, it's the only act in town.
Well, just, you know, I mean, because I left yesterday.
Well, I
around
like it.
7, and
It's
that
great.
whole parking lot was full.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, when we have both ball fields going, our parking lot's pretty much full.
full.
Yep, all the way down the hill.
I'm happy with it. Okay, so we will put this for disc golf trash. Mary,
Yes.
make a note of that, please.
Yeah, I put the
Trash.
T after that.
Okay, and we're gonna
Well,
be meeting
trash
with them.
and also, trail maintenance.
Well, then I would say more than a 500.
Well, let's put 1,000, let's scratch that and put 1,000.
Okay.
Let's put 1,000 in there.
I'm a little confused with that, Commissioner Hutchins. How are we going to differentiate the trail maintenance? When to charge what account for fallen trees? When, as Commissioner Carl said, it's used every week of the year, and not all have to do with disc golf.
On which, nature trails?
The nature
Well, like I
trails.
say, the supervisor, whenever you run a business, we used to do this, we used to had to audit our truck and any piece of maintenance. Our maintenance stuff out there, mainly, has either an odometer or a Hobbs meter on it. So when Mel and whoever goes out with the side-by-side, they take a reading of the Hobbs meter, and this is what we used to have to do. It was a sheet and a clipboard in the truck, and you had to put down who the operator was, what the mileage was when you started, and what the mileage was when you were done, and like where you went. Where'd you take the truck? Well, I take the truck to Flint and back. I was gone 3 hours. So it gave an accounting of where our people were and our equipment was and what it's being used for. So when Mel goes out to pick up trash at disc golf, he'll write on his daily log, 2 of us pick up trash, use the quad, or use the side-by-side, Hobbs meter number, yada, yada, yada. When it gets done parking it, he puts down the Hobbs meter. Same with the odometer. If you take the Chevy truck, we don't look too much at, but we had to do that before. So if I went to the beach or anybody went to the beach with the truck, and we wrote down their operator, here's what the mileage was on the Chevrolet, and we were there for 2 hours, and here's what the mileage was on that truck. So that way that should be charged to beach maintenance or everything else. So everything's broke down so you know where, like, we have gas. What's the gas going for? Is it going for the zero turn? Is it going for the side-by-side? Is it going for the quad? Is it going for the Dodge? Is it going for the Chevy? You know, so you keep an eye on what's being used and how often.
I guess my confusion was, it read to me like we were going to charge the disc golf this amount. That this is just, you're just trying to get a better grasp on where our staff.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
Yes.
Let me take a stab at it. There's disc golf fairways, and then there's trail.
Yeah, they're different.
They're different.
Yeah.
To your question about a fallen tree, if the tree is on the fairway, that goes on disc golf.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, disc golf trail is totally different. It might cross a nature trail, but it never combines. So anything that Mel charges or writes on his log, I was out on the walking trail for Sorensen, and we had to cut down 3 trees or do something. We used the quad, and that's where, you know, your Hobbs readings and everything else come up with. And that's what we used to have to do. You go down, like if Mary took one of the trucks just to go see Rachel or whatever else, you'd have to write on there, Mary Blanchard went to see Rachel, mileage.
Got it.
And that's what our auditors used to look at, and everybody used to look at. Who's using what when? And it was a pain in the butt. General Motors ran the same thing when we used a piece of equipment or anything else, or if we went to a certain machine, whoever was working on that machine was charged to that department. So you always knew where your problems were, or what's eating up your manpower and everything else. So it's a good thing to look at. You say, man, what do we spend so much time at the beach for? Or wherever else is that, you know?
So we have a budget of
Yep.
$1,000. So
Yep.
again, after we do the contract with them, we
Yep.
will inform them that they will be responsible for
Yep.
doing their own cleanup. But if there's a mishap or whatever, and we need to do it, then we'll have some dollars. And we can always go back and charge them
Exactly.
for the costs that we incurred to collect the
Hey,
trash.
can I ask them, because just today, I contacted them about, sitting down and actually talking about the contract. If they have to go out and collect the trash, are they able to use our Kubota?
No.
That might be a problem.
Well, it isn't a problem with Little League dragging the fields without using our equipment. Because
The
I used to
thing
drag,
is that the Kubota can put them back on the fields way in the back, whereas Little League can put it in their trucks and take it right to the dumpster.
oh, well,
Well, but that's what I'm saying, because I don't think Mel has a problem going and collecting the trash.
no.
I think if we just have him, as you just said, keeping track of his time and our
Yep.
machinery and things like that, we can deduct it from this $1,000, which actually could be taken from the 1,500 that's under our revenue. But the other thing is I don't know how you would ever keep track of the fact that we have disc golfers out here every day,
Yep,
which is not necessarily related to the Flint Town Flyers,
right.
who is our disc golf course people.
And I see,
You
I
know?
see, I see
I see that
Mary's.
point.
Yeah, I see her
I see
point.
that point,
I
because
see
the
it.
public's also using it
Mhm.
at Sorensen Park.
They are, and
So
I
I
can
would
tell
say,
you-
I would say the only time we charge disc golf is during tournaments or leagues, because they're running leagues now. Yeah, I understand.
That's a good point, yeah. it's
So when
like-
they're using it, because it's shut off, when they're using it, it's shut off to the public. When Little League's using the two fields, it's shut off to the public.
Well, yes and no.
No, yes, it is. Yes, it is. If I'm out there playing baseball and Little League shows up, and they say, hey, we got this field tonight, I'd say, no, this is a public field. No, they're scheduled to have a game there or practice.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
I totally get that. Nobody else can use the fields because
Right.
they have it reserved. But that doesn't necessarily stop the public from being able to access other parts of the park.
Right,
Or the fields Friday,
Which is
Saturday,
actually
Sunday.
true for
Right.
disc golf as well, that people can still use the park, they just are not able to use.
So Mary, one of the things we used to do, and that's a really good point, to distinguish, is it the public that's causing the trash, or is it the disc golfers? What I used to do is have staff, after a few of their events, go look around and just kind of get a feel as to what kind of trash was left behind, were they able to clean it up, that sort of thing. And then after the game, they clean it up. And then the next day, go back, monitor it again, and see, oh no, this was picked up yesterday. Now this is coming from somebody new. Again, it's just a quick glance. But it
Well-
needs to be recognized who's causing
what you do is you
Well,
schedule,
I can tell you, though, that based on what Mel has already told me, the people who use disc golf, whether it's with the tournaments, the leagues, or even just the general public, they are very neat.
yeah,
He said that, when he goes out to do the trash, he's not picking it up
No.
everywhere. He's picking up the bags that are in the trash cans.
yeah.
So
Now,
it's not like, he's, so,
I already judge worried about the trash right now, he worried.
it. And I mean,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
sorry,
what you do is, we know when a tournament's gonna be. So that morning or the day before, Mel goes out and picks up all the trash from the public. So also that everything's empty and it's all ready for the disc golfers to have their tournament. Then, when they're done, that night or the next morning, you send your crew out and pick up the trash. So that's how you do it. Just like when we used to rent out the pavilion. The pavilion, you go out there, look at it, clean, all the garbage cans are ready, everything's swept out, everybody's happy. When they get done, you go look, take care of the trash, and give them back their money for, the deposit for cleanup. It's the same way with disc golf. I'm not saying disc golf is gonna pay for public use, they're gonna pay for their use. Yes, and that's what we'll talk with the contract, and we'll tell them.
That I've worked with Mary Susan, and I think we've talked about this many times, and I think it's long overdue. We need to get the contract.
it's going to be on May.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
before we actually approach the board. And I know, based on Jane, that you probably will have comments to add in after that. So we'll work on it as best we can and then add in if we need to. But just to get us started.
It's like I said to Mary and to this afternoon or morning. I'm not trying to be difficult when it comes to the contracts, because I know these are all nonprofit organizations and have limitations just like you. I'm trying my best to protect, our organization, the taxpayers. And based on my experience, I can't just close my eyes and say, oh, we can get away with the insurance. We don't need it. Things like that. I can get away maybe with tax, things like that. But some of the more important things like donation clauses, insurance, things of that nature, I have to, be a little stronger on that. But again, it's to protect us and them as well. We don't want them to get into any type of bust. But again, we've been very lucky that no one's been hurt, no one's fallen, no one's done anything. And knock on wood somewhere. Got it. Thank you, James. And then we'll move on. All right, so let's move on. We're gonna put 1,000 under 731, disc golf. Before we move to the next page, I want you to know that I calculated, again, just to put a number. So 34 and 5,600, that's 14.3%, a little bit more than that, 14.34. So what I did was I took the 40,000 and multiplied 14.3%, and it's like 5,700. For item number 715. This is for Social Security.
So you want to put in
I want 5,720.
For Social Security?
For Social Security, that's number 725. So when I divided this 5,600 into 34, but again, I forgot to do the 39,000. No, I don't have to do the 39,000. I did it right. In order to calculate or put a number in there, just a holding number for Social Security. 5,600 is represents 14.3% of 34,000. 5720. 5720, because we increased the salary and then the 40. So 702, we are recommending 40,000. And then the manager's salary, can we have her fix that name on there, Mary, please?
What's that?
Under item number 703,
Yeah?
and call it the manager's salary, please.
Okay, yeah.
And that'll be 30,000. And then the program coordinator, 0. And then the Social Security, what I did was I took 14.3% of 40,000. Does that make sense to you all? What I did, it's just a guess. It's just a very rough guess.
For what?
For Social Security, item number 715.
Yeah.
So comes out to $5,720.
Yeah.
Okay, Rachel may say a little lower, higher, she'll not. Okay, but it's a number to put in there as we do the budget. Okay.
We don't have, things just like that, we turn around, so 720 is a little odd.
Oh, I see your point, sir. Okay, if you want to move to 5,800, is that it? center is the township, Holland Township. And so she recommended that it stay. Okay, I didn't have a problem. If indeed it's caused by the beach, we won't know. Zero for beach disposal, but it's all under beach disposal. We spent, previous years, we spent 1,400.
The dumpster.
What dumpster?
Yeah, you don't have a dumpster.
Yeah,
So zero?
yep.
But for the sake of collecting trash and categorizing what we spend for that unit in that beach, do we want to allocate some time to that? Labor.
Well, that's where we get breaking down stuff with Mel is, when you go, he runs the trash truck, he's gonna be running here, and he's gonna be running there, so when he goes down there with the old Chevy, he writes.
Just throw a number in there. Just
Yeah.
a flag number.
So something tells me that he's got it under park disposal and sanitary disposal. It's for both the center and for the beach. But we could add 1,000. Want to add 1,000 to the beach disposal?
Yeah,
All right, so that's item number 806. Put 1,000 there. All right.
and you gotta remember that that's only for 3 months.
Okay, so now beach telephone. Cell phone to us, yeah. You know how I feel about keeping things separate. The cost of that, and then plus it will give us a, all of that comes excellent. The monthly pay came out to $350. Is it 300 or 350, James?
The quote that I've received was $300 a
$300.
month.
Okay, so it's $300 per month. That's how much I paid for my personal cell phone.
Now, what does this $300 cover again?
It covers staff loans, it covers, 3 staff loans, correct? 3 staff loans, me for repairing, email, and for a new person, and then, a cell phone for each month. Now, those cell phones, once you, no longer on the commission, you come back, and you are, the only question I have is, anyway, it doesn't matter. As much as I would love to do this, I have really good about it, so worry with me.
You guys can have all the stuff that you want out in the
So I'm not, I'm used to us. Again, I respect the public. We should blame more for our this minor instances, I'm gonna say, just get your cell phone, and hopefully we'll do this better to your staff. I don't know if we need 3, but what was the third one?
Was that the beach?
Let's look at the 3. We want 1 for Mel, 1 for Mary, and the other one would be the beach phone.
Yeah, I think we, that's.
The beach phone, right?
But it's not a landline, it's a cell phone.
Yes. And so we just tell everybody, don't be calling a pizza. This is so Mary or Mel can contact people at the beach or they can contact
You'll have to bring that. Yeah.
The iPad, just for the record, would primarily be used for concessions.
And that's, yeah.
We had a lot of problems with the cash register because they were cheap.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I'm planning to put a formal proposal together to get everyone more information.
yeah, we have to put something out.
Right.
So let me know, and then we can change it. So, for the beach phone, I'm going to put in,
From the quote, if I can remember correctly, it was about $37 per line.
Now, would that change though if we do not do the full package of,
yes.
8 different
I don't
lines?
believe so because of the governmental program that we qualify for. I think it's pretty set. I know what you're saying, on the personal lines, however many lines you get will determine what discount you get on the remaining. However, I don't believe, and again, I'll get more information. I don't believe it was like that in the government.
Okay, so I'm gonna put 37 times 12, 4.4, but it was not a day.
Let's round that up.
We're bringing down the rate of the book. For the beach phone, and obviously this is still budget change.
I would like to just ask Commissioner Carl, I think previously you had said that you didn't feel that you needed a personal, or a cell phone for yourself, right?
Based on my understanding of the use and purpose of that phone, and me, I don't do Facebook. I don't
think, so is the confusion though, it's coming in as just a cell phone charge, so do we need to have the separate line item of beach phone when it's gonna be charged all year round for those 3 phones?
So we can actually scratch each phone,
Okay, we'll put that 0.
and we move that down to mobile phones.
All right, so we'll push that to mobile phone.
It's a mobile phone, we're doing 450.
That'll be item number 852, and we'll put, what did you say, you check me that, I'm tired. That 1,000. So assuming, like I said, it was so cheaper when we got, we gave phones, and now we're gonna get 3 phones, it'd be more expensive. So, hopefully they'll give us a better price, I believe, the 37. That's still not bad compared to what.
Three phones at $3,750 a month, for a year is $1,350.
So we'll put 1,400. For cell phones. Mobile phones, 1,000.
And then and then on light item 851,
We're gonna put,
the,
this is the phone here.
oh, this is the landline. Gotcha, okay.
Okay. So we're gonna leave that alone.
Leave that off and move the internet.
And you can
Gotcha.
use the internet.
Okay.
Phone and internet.
That's what it is in my.
Okay.
Okay. So, so far you've had 1,000. All right. So moving on to, the next item is item number 881, this is community promotion part 2.
Oh, let's back up here.
Okay.
Mileage
education.
I'm sorry, education, I apologize, education, 3,000. And then we decided that under community promotion reach, 500, is that for concessions?
I'm not sure, actually, and I think that was one of the questions that we had for Rachel, if I'm not mistaken, as to.
Yes.
I think that one,
we-
I'm sorry, wasn't that one,
Yeah, I think the 500 was for concessions.
or else it was the, what was the 500, the community promotion that we had talked about with the 4th of July, I believe, to go towards the, no, the fireworks, that we were gonna gift.
I just learned something about that today that I didn't know about.
Okay.
Legally, we can't do it.
Do the, like, the,
James was bringing that up previously too, that he was questioning whether
Yeah,
that
we
was
can't do
possible.
Legally, because we're taking taxpayers' beach or parks money and giving it to,
oh, okay.
Now, that we had an interoperability
that's
agreement
what we have to have.
or co-sponsored agreement.
Yeah, we have to have that, so I found that out for sure today. Yeah, you're on the right track on that one,
Okay.
so.
Okay, so this, we're thinking,
That's another agreement we're gonna have to write again.
so we're thinking concessions for this 500?
I would say that's what I recall. 500, and then when I look at, the revenue, we have 500 for concessions. We have 500 for concessions under revenue, and we have 500 for expenses.
Okay, so that would balance.
We have that.
If we have an open concession,
Concessions, well,
500,
643, right.
but we also had contributions, which doesn't seem to. I
no,
got 675.
675.
Yeah, that was what we talked about with the fireworks, I think.
Contributions.
Yeah.
We need,
Oh, no, that's, okay, so under revenue, contributions,
To us.
yes, that's contributions
To us, revenue, gotcha.
That's where we said expenditure, sorry.
Yes, we'll go back and we'll take out the money that we were going to give to them until we set up the road agreement with the village, if we still want to, and then we'll come back and.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay, so is 880 going to be changed to concession
880,
as an expense?
880. I would recommend that we, just so that we can, make sure that we follow it correctly, that we do.
would you then discuss that with Rachel for like in June to begin in July?
Well,
Because that's our fiscal?
right, I'll talk to her as soon as I can. We have to finish out the fiscal year.
Right.
Which is in June. So probably after the fiscal year, and which ends on June 30th, I'll sit down with her, and I'll make this proposal that the commission would like to see how much is being spent each, and how much is being spent here at the nature center.
Okay.
And so, she'll tell us, she'll come up with, and hopefully, it will not cause any delays, but when that happens, she'll have to create new accounts. She'll have to create, different, budget and so forth and so on. So this may not be something that we may be able to do this year, but we may be able to do it next fiscal year, okay? And I'll check with the accountants to see if we can make this change mid-year. I believe that we can.
But are you saying next fiscal year being 2026?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because again, remember, these are accounting rules, and they are going to be auditing us, and whenever we do changes to our plans, it causes, a little bit of a, concern. They want to make sure that we're doing it all correctly. So we're stepping up as we do it, and it's going to take a little bit of work.
And I think, one thing that we need to consider, because you just mentioned that Rachel's tasks that we're asking her is increasing. That's not the only thing, because just today, I had given her some information last week from the unemployment insurance agency, and she was, who's possibly asking us for, unemployment at this point, because mainly we only have 2 staff. And it came back that QuickBooks program has decided that they're not going to pay for the unemployment any longer. And so this is another task that is Rachel's going to have to absorb, is in her, monthly duties, is taking care of this, or quarterly, or whatever. So, I think that in addition to the things that we're asking her to do, she's getting hit with other things, like maybe the auditors are, expecting, even though she said that, in her eyes, we had a very clean audit. They did ask her, for information. So, I just think that maybe we have to consider too, like she has given us the amount that we want, that she's asking us to pay, that maybe, since we have given other raises, maybe we should in the future consider that we want to increase her amount.
Yes,
That might be.
That I have no problem with that, or it's up to the commission, but definitely.
The only question I have about unemployment, don't you have to be a full-time employee to get unemployment?
This is not actually unemployment, it's reporting. It's just the quarterly reporting that goes to the unemployment agency. So it wasn't that any of our employees actually asked for unemployment,
No, we can't.
but it's just the amount that Rachel has to keep track of to go to the unemployment agency.
It's her
So,
reporting.
yes, yeah. So, and that's the thing that QuickBooks has decided they are not going to do, because we are, I'm assuming, that we have so few employees that they're just not going to report on it. So,
Okay. Yeah, that's something, and again, she's trying to make it easy for herself. Now, please know this, and I hope the public knows this as well, that if we ever wanted a more detailed report, we can get that from her, and she can separate, the expenses for us. So it's not like we don't know, it's not like we don't see it, we see it every month. The other thing that I've asked the manager to do, and this is again, like I said,
20 car shows, we made this kind of money, here's what we've done, here's the grants we got, here's the work we've done out there, we pulled weeds, we took out fences, gave them an annual report of the progress at the farm stand. And that was part of the contract, and we had to give it. So I used to know me and Harvey go, we thought, what the hell was going on?
So it would be awesome to do that, and I think we'll get it, you know, we will. I'm sure. Okay, so, moving on to item number 81, community promotion park. There's that at 0. Make sure I have the right one here. Okay. And, then, moving on to 910, insurance. Rachel said we're gonna come out at 1,300, so we'll leave 13,000. Thank you. Beach utilities, we're gonna leave that at 0, because it's all combined into one item right now. And, Rachel suggested 6,200. Paying for, beach repairs. Okay, I think, here's where we're gonna get into the hard stuff, so I'm gonna hold up on that for now. Okay, let me just finish this, okay, and then we'll come back. So under park repairs, what the previous commission did was they put everything under one line item, which is $25,000. And that's park repairs. We can go either way, they just put that on there as an item that we can spend, to make improvements. And then, payroll processing, I don't see any money for that. Let's see. Yes, we did, payroll processing, 2,200, park miscellaneous, that's number 956, get one, $100, so we'll just leave that at 0, or should we put $100 in there?
What about petty cash?
That's what, yeah.
Petty cash, how does that work, Mary, petty cash?
Petty cash is $300, and we, throughout the month, whoever needs different things, I will tell you, our pets, our turtles, have required quite a bit in just this last 3 months. So as people have receipts, I reimburse them out of petty cash. We do a running tally, and then when it gets to a certain amount, I turn it into Rachel. I usually wait until it's at least half of that to turn into her, and then over the next week, she will write a check to me, and then I go to the bank and I cash it and reimburse petty cash. And so,
But what line item does it come out of?
I think it's an accumulation of things, because if you look under the,
Oh, so it can come out from any one of these items? I see.
under this transaction list with the splits, those are petty cash items. There are some of those that are petty
Okay, so
cash.
they come out of separate items.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
okay. And then the next highest, this is the one that's, a little confusing because this one says that we budgeted 38,000, thirty-eight thousand 551. But then when I look at the previous year, it's a much higher number. So I don't know why this number is higher. Unless that's just a typo, but if that is, that's a big typo. Because then our budget would be,
It might fall under what you were talking about previously, where Rachel said that the previous commission got to the point where they were just like, okay, just put it all into repairs or maintenance or whatever.
If-
And then, you know,
If you look at this one though, the one that goes across, the budget for 23-24 is 38, but the budget for 24-25 is at 47.9.
yeah.
So, is that what you're saying? Did I just put,
that's this year. But when we look at the budget for this year, 24-25, it's only at 38,551.
Right.
Okay.
hmm,
And so when you look at the budget for 24-25, total revenue is 217, 781. That's this year. And when you look at the expenses, it's the same. Okay, and then the line item is 47,951. No, I don't know why the number is different.
Is this 38,551 a typo?
That's what I'm asking. I mean, I don't know, because when she adds them up, it adds up to 217, 781.
Okay, maybe shed some light on this one. The part two capital, equipment capital is 15,000. We bought the side-by-side, or the side-by-side last year, $12,000 in change. That's the only equipment we bought in the last year.
Is it this fiscal year, 24-25?
It's been a year ago.
Okay, so then this wasn't this fiscal year, because we showed nothing.
That's right. Bill's right. It was last year.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so do you remember when? Was it before?
I gotta think back. I know we wanted to spring or early summer, so it would have been a year ago.
I think it was spring.
Yeah. Because if you look at the paperwork we have on the Kubota, it'll show that we bought it from Weingart's and what the price was and everything else. Because we were using the quad and my trailer before to do a lot of the maintenance and everything else around. And the previous board wanted to buy the side-by-side.
so are we just gonna get clarification on that line item?
We're gonna have to get some clarification from Rachel, so it's either 7. I mean, if you look at the numbers quickly here.
You know what, on here, in this thing about Rachel's questions, under number 7, it says account 984 in the 24-25 year, 947 of this was spent on signs, 2,549.06 on siding and posts and curtains. I don't know where any of these were installed. So, sorry, I was looking, I just saw the account 984, I thought she might shed some light on that.
The siding was the beach rehab and the guardhouse.
Okay. I thought she was giving more of an explanation on the difference, but it wasn't, so.
Yeah, no, I don't see it.
Okay, so I'll just ask her.
Yeah. We have to submit this
majority of the trim that's bad is on the back of the.
Yeah, it's on the back side of the place, and because of the trees.
Yeah,
I would say $1,000, and we use cement trim, not composite, cement trim. You know, it's just like that's what's on there, it's got fake rain on it, and it's durable.
So would we want to do that for the whole building if we're going to do that? Because,
It'll all match, it's the same dimension.
oh,
I would get, and the gutter would have to have somebody put a gutter on.
yeah,
I wouldn't call a gutter guard, I'd find somebody around that does gutters cheap.
yeah.
This one on the north side will work good until winter. Then it fills with ice, and even though the downspouts flood, you're gonna have ice buildup, so leaves and debris in that. I wouldn't put gutter guard on.
Okay, so you wouldn't put gutter guards on it?
Don't we the leaves from?
I don't know, but I saw Mel and Tom take the leaves out of there,
Yeah,
and it still had tremendous problems with ice.
yeah.
So,
Well, we
I know
were
you
given-
previously said that you had used heat tape.
Heat tapes, plugs in.
So whether we're gonna do that or not, I still think having gutter guards is a good idea, because it would save our staff from being on ladders, taking that stuff out of there.
Now, I lived in that house I'm at for 50 years, the north side, the back side of the house, north side. My gutters you could eat out. I don't have gutter guards. I have vinyl gutters so you can flex them. So I go out there in February with a welder's hammer, chipping ice out, taking ice blocks out of that gutter that big. Because you never get no sunlight. And I'm not gonna put heat tapes on my shingles because it doesn't work with an asphalt. It cooks them. And then you get an ice dam about that big, so keep the ice dam down. I get my little step ladder, take a welding hammer, and throw ice out of the gutter. Because I tried, you know,
So,
north side.
Again, I would prefer not to have our staff
Yeah.
up on ladders in
When
February.
we go ahead and do that, we used to do it before, and that's what happened. It didn't do no good, so they tore it out.
Okay, so let's get back to this, I don't want to use those terms.
Okay, $2,000,
So we're
$2,000.
$2,000, is that all you think it's gonna cost plus the gutter guards, or any more than that? I would say, we're gonna do 30,000 for painting of the beach, is that what we call it? It's gonna be this year, mind you. This year, not next year, what we're budgeting for, this year, and we're gonna direct our manager right now, we want her to go get some quotes for paint, and if that guy wants to send us his quote,
Yep.
it's Mary, please.
I put 30,000 there.
If it comes less, it's fine. You know, we'll get some quotes, so it'll be fine, it's small.
I'd like to see the shop floor research.
We can do that, we can do that.
What would you say, 30,000 for everything at the beach?
Should be.
All right, what about cleaning the muck out of the beach?
Okay, let's discuss this, we discussed this before. We're working with SISMA. SISMA has different divisions, 5 or 7 divisions. They also have shoreline restoration. So we're looking at getting signed up again with SISMA to continue our programs here. We can have them look at the beach, you know, get their experts down there and find out if the DEQ and everybody else can get the permits to do what they can do, and they can look at that professionally and tell you what they can do, what you're allowed to do with that beach. Because here's the beach, here's the neighbors, here's the beach. So guess what, you turn that out more, everybody's muck's gonna come in there. There's going to be retainers put in at the beach to maintain our beach as the beach.
Right, and
So,
we-
big bucks.
Okay, so please, everybody, I know there's so many things we want to do, but we have 2 months left in this
Yeah.
fiscal year, all right? So we're gonna do paint,
Yep.
and we're gonna do the gutters.
Yeah, gutters and trim.
Gutters and trim. And I'm gonna say 5,000. Could be less, you know, these are just guesses, okay? Could be less, but at least we have a decent amount of money
What about,
I thought these numbers were putting in our one.
We're gonna, no, this 30,000, this 5,000, right now, we're telling the manager, do it now, you got 2 months.
And what line item is that?
And that's line item 984, where we have $38,551, but again, there's a discrepancy because the number that shows on this other budget, shows it at 47,951. I think it's probably the other number, but we'll correct that, Mary.
So what we gonna put in for 984?
So for, now for 984, for next fiscal year, that starts in July 1st, that's when I think we should put in the road, okay? The road, we need to do the road.
the grading, the drainage,
The ditching.
the ditches?
So what, let's back up, what we gonna do for the 38,551?
We're gonna,
This year,
for this year, we're gonna do the paint at the beach and the gutters in the truck. Don't get us too confused.
584 said improvement parts 2.
Right, and I don't know what the 2 is all about.
that's the one.
That's here.
Okay, so, but again, like I was trying to explain to you all, you just shut, that's right, you just lay still.
So we're,
I'm following you. We've
Pro-
got, we have $38,000 to spend between now and
And
the end of June.
we're gonna spend it for paint
Beach paint,
and
park paint, Sorensen paint, and Sorensen gutter.
for this fiscal year.
Correct.
Now, starting July, when we look at this next fiscal year, now here's where we've got a couple of line items, and we also placed 25,000 under, if you take a look at item number 931. Okay, now, 931, even though, again, this is kind of a little confusing because, park repairs, this says we have a budget of 25,000 for 24, 25. And what do you think is correct, James?
25,000?
25,000, okay. And then when I look at this budget, 931, okay, we have 25,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's correct. We've spent 11,000 so far, and yet 13,000.
Actually, you've spent almost 12,000.
Okay, so we've almost spent 12,000, and so we have 13,000 left over, okay? I'm not gonna touch that, if it's spent, if something comes up in the next 2 months, we're gonna leave it there, okay? And if it happens, we can use that. Now, maybe, if staff has time, we can use it to do the, what was it that you were talking about, that you want to see fixed as well, the shuffleboard, you know? We could do it there, because that's already there.
The other thing is that I'm wondering, if you're getting quotes for painting, do we want to add this east wall to the nature center to those quotes?
Yes.
Does anybody want, I mean, mural would be really nice
Oh, that would be awesome.
and kind of interesting to see and
Outside, here.
outside. I don't know if that's a surface for it or not, but, the other thing, back to the beach really quickly, the swings, I feel like we could upgrade on those swings and even make some accessible for kids. You know, that, like there is on the
We
village
have 2 months,
beach.
guys.
Yeah, they have the one that's accessible for kids and,
We have the swings we have on the swings, are bucket swings for kids, and then we have belt swings for bigger kids. So we have toddlers and anybody else adult size. We take them out in the winter and we put them up here too, because sunlight, cold, screws them up. We
Right.
take them out and we put them back up. So we do have toddler stuff.
Yep.
And we do have adult things for our swings. And same with up here on the hill.
Well, I can tell you from having worked at the beach, very few children use those swings. And if we were going to do an improvement, I would really love to see some kind of climbing structure. The plastic thing that is sitting in the middle of the sand has been there for so many years.
Mhm.
And yet, last year, I to put it in for next year's budget, to actually look at some kind of nice piece of equipment. What's that?
Climbing wall, is that your?
Not a wall, just some type of climbing equipment. You know, like, you know, a lot of them are plastic now as opposed to wooden that they used to be. But I think that, you know, some kind of structure that they actually would use would be a real benefit. Because even there's even a pole that has this blue thing at the top that they're supposed to throw balls in and, you know.
Yeah, that
never
has all the
gets used,
chutes. Mhm.
You know.
So we have three items where we can add some of these things for next year. We have on 931,
Here's one thing there.
for park repairs. We have, 970 for, equipment capital. And then we have the third one, which is, improvements for someone. Okay, so those are the three big items that we need to fill. Okay, so we have directed our manager, Steve, to do 2 days before this fiscal year. Okay. And do theirs and the other things together. And I would love for us to do it all. But if you have to do some, give me some budget. Okay? Maybe the school.
Yeah, some art department, some kid.
You know, I think that our,
Hardware.
former
Used to be really hardware downtown.
program
There's
director
that, you know.
is an artist.
Yeah.
And she has contacts with lots of artists.
One was our,
So I would
yeah,
think
Community
the
people.
trains on one side,
So
they
can
do how.
somebody tell me what this
Love that.
budget was spent so far? What is the budget? Remember, we have, $2,245,900 to spend. How much have we spent so far? Remember,
How much have we proposed for
So
the
far.
budget?
yes, so far.
On first page, it's 48,500. That's the new increase.
Yes, yes.
Right? And I kind of lost track of what we were doing.
We're gonna figure it out once you give me what the bottom line is. So we add on this page,
At 1,000.
1,000, and then 1,400.
I had 1,000, and I had 1,400. And the next entry,
That's all.
that's it.
How much more do we add?
2,400 so far, what is it on this?
So it's 20.
2,400 plus, front page is 48,000.
So that's
50,900.
900, and we had 96,700.
Sure. Did you, get on account 850 to 450 or did we move that to the mobile phone?
Yeah, we,
We did.
We did.
Okay.
1,400.
And you know what, that I almost forgot, Ms. Lillian, but, we want to do a webpage next year. And, that's gonna cost us some dollars. Not a lot, but we do want to do a webpage. We should put aside some money for our webpage.
Do we have a line item for that?
It would fall in.
promotions, or,
So, I would call under. Maybe you're right. Go, because there's no line item for web page administration or web development administration.
The education.
Oh, education,
I mean, was that one designed for us if we were going, yeah,
that's for us, that was for us, because Mary was keeping us in programs that she was
maybe,
That's for next fiscal year. When the community promotions part number 2, they have 0 there.
All right, we'll put it there for now, knowing that this could be where the webpage is. Again, we will ask
How much?
Rachel,
You think it's gonna be
how much did you say?
Well, it depends if we're going to do a professional or we're going to keep it in-house.
I'd like to do it professionally.
Okay, I would guesstimate about between 5,000 and 6,000.
I mean, unless we put that under
That's a lot.
park miscellaneous.
You're gonna go, you want the professional side, we're not gonna ask for all the bells and whistles. So we're not gonna, I don't get, it doesn't cost that much. But it will look professional and the people will be able to look at it. Can we bring that down a little bit, James, maybe to,
I mean, we could always bring it down, but like I said, if you want a professional web design, from a professional web developer, it's not cheap. You're going to easily spend at least 500, easily.
and the reason for that is, but once, I'm hoping that we've done this before, once we set it up, that is something that we can carry forward. So that the biggest cost from the store costs. That's why it's so expensive. They have to take pictures and do the writing, and gather all the information. And then years go by, it's not gonna cost us $5,000 a year.
The upkeep would be drastically less.
Yes.
And you would want it to be where we can do it in-house.
Yes.
And not for them to have to be maintaining it.
Yes. All right, so let's put 6,000. All right. And then it'll go under community promotion part 2. 6,000. And this is for the webpage. The page 12. Okay, so, that's 6,000 right there.
56,000.
So, okay, so now 96,700 plus, did you say 56,900?
56,000,
So we spent 153,600. Okay, and our revenues state, we're at 45. We're at 92,300. Okay? 92,300. I don't want to do what we've done in the past, and just part of that. Okay, I want to put a specific project to it. The tough part about this is we don't know how much it's gonna cost. I would love to put this one in case you wonder why I'm looking at it. I'd like to make some improvements on that, I really do.
And the bees, you know, Mary had talked about shrubbery and, you know, planting that would support that, you know, complete the look. So there'd be some planting and ground, whatever.
Okay, so the only line items that we have park
Guess that would
repairs.
be-
Park repairs, and that's item number 931. 931,
Mhm.
and it looks like we've spent stuff on there for park repairs. What comes out of this item, Mary? Usually, when we talk about park repairs, what are some of the things that we do?
You know, I'm not sure, because I wasn't involved in that.
Um,
But the other thing I would say is just based on something that happened today, we need to put a fair amount of money into maintenance, but for the grounds. Because just today, we went to see Rachel. I came back here, no problem. An hour later, I went to one of the trees that was on the west side of the driveway, the tree was leaning towards our neighbor, but the wind, I think, blew it over, and it was like, it covered, I can show you a picture, it covered our whole driveway. And thank goodness that Mel and Zach were right here. Within 5 minutes, they were here and taking down, taking apart that tree. And I came back 40 minutes later and they had it all cleaned up. But it just goes to speak to the fact that there is significant tree damage, which we know just from being around this nature center, how many trees that Mel, Zach, and Joe have taken down. And that can be anywhere along these trails. What we don't need is for it to fall on somebody or somebody's car or our building.
How do you recommend that we keep it at 25,000?
And-
Keep it at 25,000 for the next year. And this will be for things like that we don't know can potentially happen.
And what about replanting? Tree replanting?
Say again?
Re-
So tree replanting, it could go in there, it could come out of there. It's part of repair, so we can replace some trees that have fallen, stuff like that, it could come out of repair.
Because that can be expensive.
We still have two line items, 955, 956, beach and park miscellaneouses.
We put 0 on there because nothing has been spent in the past 2 years.
That'd be a nice, maybe dump some money.
Yeah.
Miscellaneous,
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
Yep,
So,
we just had all trees trimmed at the beach, but still, things happen.
No,
And
exactly.
up here, yeah.
well, I'm just trying to keep it, simple, but okay, I just wanted to put 25,000 and it goes all under park repairs, one line.
That's just for storms.
Oh, okay, so we can add some money for the beach.
The same, just do the same?
So far, we spent 13,000, and we only got 2 months left, and we just spent another, so.
We're gonna spend a lot here in the next 2 months. For your grass.
I wish it was
I'm
more.
with you.
We're gonna be a lot catch up.
Um,
We still have a ton of money that we can use with, so I'm saying for now, we did leave the 25,000 there for park repairs, and if you all want, we can, Joe, if you want, we can put some money in there, Jeff, for beach repairs too. You wanna do that? We can put, say,
We can always move back wherever we want.
okay, so we can put, what do you say, 5,000?
Yeah.
Okay, 5,000
for the beach,
for the beach,
for next year.
for next year. For beach
Yeah,
repairs.
that's usually here.
Well, we've got nothing in there for this year. It's coming out of the, well, again,
I
we
think it's
can,
combined.
yeah, it's combined.
Per what Rachel was saying, basically, it said that commissioners from the last budget cycle requested to combine those separate accounts.
And you said put 5 into the beach and 25 for Swanson, so we got 30 combined.
Yeah,
Okay.
the way they did it, is not conducive, but we will fix that. Okay, so now we've spent, 30,000. Okay, so. 183,000. And so, are we gonna, we need to replace the equipment, Joe. If any of our vehicles, we need to buy a new vehicle.
No, we got a zero turn mower, we got 2 quads, we got side by side, we got a tractor, we got 2 trucks, we got some small equipment, bush hog, we got a riding lawnmower down at the beach, so we don't have to take our
So we
zero
have to
turn.
replace, so what about our, things on grading, you're talking about capital equipment, that go backwards? Computers, equipment, staff.
One thing I would like to say, as opposed to Joe's point, we have 2 vehicles. One's a 1999, I believe, and the other one is like a 2005. I think at some point we have to take into consideration they're not going to last forever. And,
What is wrong with you?
and hey, we've been blessed, they've lasted this long.
what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Big trucks.
The trucks, we got a 1993 Ford, the old Chevy, we got the silver truck, the Dodge.
Uh-huh.
And that's why we bought the Dodge, was wait for the old Chevy to die. And you hate to take that Dodge has got such a small box, you hate to take and beat it up with brush. That's why we're gonna run that Chevy till it dies, and we're gonna bury it out here somewhere.
Well, either way, I'm just saying, it might be something to consider, is that we might start putting it aside, some money aside, so that when we do have to purchase a truck, we have the money ready to go, and say, okay.
Well, that's what we did, that's why the Chevy was donated, and that's the only truck we had in it. We got old enough, we call that our town truck, don't take it offended, because it'll probably break down. So Tony used to use a silver truck to go get stuff, so she didn't have to run her own vehicle or anything else. So that silver truck was supposed to replace the Chevy. And at one time, we were gonna scrap the Chevy, but somebody made an unauthorized purchase and fixed the Chevy.
Well, either way, I'm just saying, that might be something to consider for the budget, is,
We should put
Start.
aside the capital improvement project,
thank you.
because a decent truck, used truck, man, you're probably talking 15,000.
No, you're talking much more,
Well, I'm
because
talking
my
about
son
basic.
has priced them.
I'm
And
talking
even
about
for a
basic
used
truck.
one, you're talking at least 30.
Yeah, I was gonna say 37. Yeah.
And so would that fall under 971? Would that be under 971? Line item 971, is that where we would put a vehicle?
That'd be in the capital.
A capital, right. So right now, I mean, how much do we have left?
15,000, you've not spent it.
But, I mean, how much do we have, are we playing with?
So, okay, so now, that's what you just,
2,200, you got it.
okay, so where's the bottom line? Where are we, how much money do we have left?
We got 6,500.
Okay, so what I did, based on the information, is added the 30,000. So if I take the 245,900 minus, I've added 183,600, is that what you have?
I want to where you getting the extra, is this? or
Okay,
is
so
it
I added
this?
50, the 6, and then I added another 30,000. This is the 25,000 for the park repairs, and then we gave another 5,000 for the beach repairs. So
I'm up to speed right to here. This page totals 38,400 on this page.
Right, so this
The
is,
additions on this page were 51,800,
okay, so add them together, what is that?
90,200.
Okay,
And we have two entries, 971, 984 to capture.
okay. So what is the bottom line? When you're coming to your,
If this is it, you said you had
No.
carrying over.
this 90,000 is what we spent when we took a look at this. So now you have to add 90,000 plus, whatever the first page was, and then whatever the second page was.
So,
See,
96,
so it's 96, 7,000. So the first page, you have what? How much did you add up from the 90, for the first page that we added?
51,800.
51,800.
51,800.
Okay, and then on the second page?
Column today, not including 971 and 984, they total 38,400.
Okay, so that includes 1,000, 1,400, 6,000, 5,000,
5,000,
25,000.
25,000,
Now, how much is that all add up to?
38,400.
48,400.
So we're thinking we're gonna put that into 971?
It
59?
depends, if everybody agrees. So,
It comes out to what's the grand total we have?
We have 59,000.
59,000 that's remaining.
Yeah.
And so we can take, we would say, because of all the increases and the changes in the taxes and the tariffs and all that kind of stuff that's happened, what is the one vehicle, Joe, that we should replace? One vehicle, Mary, Joe.
Oh, the Chevy, junk.
Oh, so how much would that, so we were to replace it, how much do you think it would cost?
I know, I think before you replace the truck, you need to do the drive in front of this
Yeah,
nature.
this is not right. That Chevy might run, we don't use it that much. If I looked at a priority, let's get this thing ditched out here and get this repaired.
Right, so we put the whole money, 56,000?
Yeah,
I mean, how much are we,
this is just a proposal. It's balance the budget, it's getting late, right? The street light comes on, my boss said I had to do it.
I think priority should definitely be the drive.
Yeah,
out
I
here,
agree.
and then
I wish
really-
we had that number from that gentleman that was supposed to get this to Montgomery, and we wouldn't know.
Well, we don't care. We know how much money we got to balance the budget. Drop it in the slot, we'll change it later.
And in addition to that, I think Cindy is really on something. We really need to think about replacing some of the equipment out of here.
I agree.
Also, we took two trees down, and we never replaced them.
Yeah,
And, yeah.
and we do stuff like that, yeah, we need to do better, we need
Yeah.
to do better. What we could do, because I don't think it's gonna cost us the balance, to do the road repair, I could be wrong, but, you know, it could be a major undertaking, it is gonna be higher.
He's saying out here it's not gonna be made up.
Well, then why don't we put 30,000 for that, and then put some money in there for the truck?
Yeah, that's it.
Let's
Then
do
we
that.
will balance the budget before the street lights come on.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
so we're gonna put
We're gonna put 30,000
in
in
97.
improvements, and that's for the roads. Please know this.
What number is that?
That's
number
984.
And then what's the other, the
971 is equipment,
equipment, what's the balance?
should be
59, right? So 29,000?
29.
29, okay, 29,000,
984 is gonna be how much?
30K.
30, 984 is gonna be 30K, and the purpose of these dollars, not the balance of the budget, is to pay the local improvement out of the park.
And that would be 970 is gonna be.
970.
971 is to replace the Dodge, and that's
And how much?
29K.
29,000.
Okay.
Because we have 59,000 left over, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What minute?
I don't think we need to actually replace the truck right now.
No.
Because it is operational. But what I was thinking of was taking some of the money and putting there, as we were just talking about, some of the activity at the beach would be greatly improved if we did some of the structure there.
All right.
We have placeholders, put it in improvements and capital.
Yeah, and we can move this around anywhere we want. Let's turn off the lights.
Yeah.
We gotta balance the budget, right?
Joe's
So we're gonna go ahead and do this truck.
I hear you.
And we're gonna put this money in this truck, it's 1990, how old this truck is.
Right.
Might be a bulldozer.
Right, so, okay, so we're gonna triple check on the numbers, but the bottom line is $245,090 is our recommended proposed budget for the fiscal year 25.
What's the number again?
245,900. And we have to make
So we're getting requests for quotes for those things?
But quickly, so that we get them done. It doesn't take long, hopefully.
And if anybody knows anybody who they wanna have do a quote, they need to get it in.
Well, she had just failed, that's all it is.
And let's keep the bids all the same. All wash the inside of the pavilion and paint it. The same, because it's dirty and nasty.
Well,
Paint the
hold on,
outside.
hold on. How about if we do this as opposed to what you were just talking about? You wanna turn off the lights?
Yeah.
You wanna wait until tomorrow and do an actual,
It's going okay, Joe, you know, people work, the two of you, working there.
I mean, if you wanna do it right now, we can.
Do what?
To do the final, amount and,
Well, the bid for the Lake Beach. Paint the outside of the bathhouse and the guard shack and the pavilion